Thank you very much. Very good afternoon to everyone. Respected Guruji, Dr. Girish Ahuja, my mentor, Ashok Batraji, Chairman and Vice Chairman, Jindal, Galaxy of the Past Chairman, seniors in the profession and respected members. Let me tell you, it's always a great pleasure to come here to interact with you. Even if I am not contributing anything on direct access, but still Guruji has thought fit that he should leave the favorite topic to me regarding the survey and the one of the provision of the search which has been amended in respect of the direct tax committee. So before taking that, how I have started reading the budget. Last 2 years, I am looking to budget from a different angle. Because now this budget is not only one of the professional opportunity in respect of direct and indirect taxes, but this budget we should start reading from the point of view that what value addition I can make to my clients. Let me tell you, we are always interested in direct taxes provision. I am also interested in direct tax provision. We always read line by line the direct tax provisions. But where the government wanted to take us, where the development is going to take place, that we are getting from this budget. And I think after a long period of time, a stable government, a complete mandate has come to the government. So they have set the role and they have started telling us that next 4 years what they are going to do, in which area they are going to contribute. That is important. And as such, I have started looking the budget from that angle. And I will take you to some of those things wherein we can contribute as a chartered accountant and we can tell our client to look into those areas. And before that, 2 provisions which Guruji has said to me. 133A survey. At present, in the statute, there is no provision of survey in respect of tax collection at source and tax deduction at source. However, they were being conducted indirectly through a judgment of Calcutta, but those have been provided by way of amendment under section 133A. Instead of business hour, they have provided here after the sunrise and before the sunset. Instead of business premises, they have provided it can be conducted at the premises where such information is. But they have provided one more provision in this, that they cannot impound the books of account. They can only make extract from the books of account. This is the one amendment they have made in respect of the survey. They have also added one section, 133C. Now, through this section, they can ask anyone to furnish the information which they want, and the information is now we are supposed to supply them. If we will not supply, their panel goes for it. The next amendment which is related to survey or search is in relation to section 153C. Earlier what used to happen, that if I am searched and the smallest of smallest paper is found in respect of some other person, and the assessing officer who is assessing the income of a person who is searched, that the paper of the other person is such of nature that it will have an impact on the undisclosed income of the other person. Then he will reopen either himself or through the assessing officer of that person, he will refer the case to that person that kindly reopen the case of this person for 7 assessment years, 6 plus 1. The moment a notice is issued, it is compulsory that all these 7 assessment years are reopened irrespective of the fact whether that paper is going to give any undisclosed income or not. It means the entire rigorous of the search assessment is also fall on the head who is even not being searched if even a single paper is found from the premises of other person. And I have handled a case wherein there is a car which is PB089965, I-10 car. Anybody who's have parked this car kindly remove this is problem. If he is sitting here, I am repeating number PB089965. Law has amended because when I was handling one case, a memorandum of the company was found in the other premises. Now on that memorandum itself, they have reopened the cases of 7 years in the case of that company. We tried a lot, but they have not listened to us, and we have to go and to the courts, and then we are getting the relief. So now they have provided the assessing officer has to record his satisfaction in respect of every such person for every such year. Inter area means that if there is an income in 1 year, only that assessment will be opened or reopened or reassessed. And if there is an income in more than 1 year, up to 7 assessment year, he can open and reassess under section 153A. That's a very good amendment, so that these people, those who are not being directly served, they should not suffer because of these some document have been found and a satisfaction is to be recorded in there. So these are the 2 amendments which have been made in respect of that. One more which is being 201, which he was telling me. In TDS, there is no provision as on today of filing a correction statement or a rectification statement as per law. But the software and every day we are getting the notices that you need to rectify your return. So they have provided that in now provision itself in the section 201 that we can file rectification statement, as well as on today only they can verify for 2 years. It means they can do the scrutiny of TDS for 2 years. Now they have increased that 2 years to 6 years parallel to 148. Now they can reopen those TDS return for 6 years. So far as if you wanted to make the assessment, this is also one of the amendments. Some of the amendments which have not been made in the Finance Act, however, maybe what had happened that while finalizing the Finance Act, the Finance Minister have not been able to get time to draft such provisions, but he thought it fit that it should be covered from his speech itself, and then later on when they are bringing for discussion that finance bill, they will either bring those amendments in that, or they will bring by way of some audience etc. certain amendments. And one such thing which he has covered was in respect of settlement commission. As on today, only those who are such and those who wanted to pay an amount of tax which is a certain, you can say certain level of taxes, 50 lakh rupees and 10 lakh rupees in the case of normal SSC and associated, they can go and they can have only once in lifetime. Now in this speech in para 30 he said that we will bring certain amendment in the provisions of the settlement commission. However, keeping the once in lifetime provisions intact. And according to me, there are very few things which are left as on today in respect of settlement commission is 148. Or the cases like 153C where the threshold limit will be 50 lakh rupees because they are not directly connected, etc. Certain amendments will come which are not at all touched in the Finance Act. Those will come according to me. So these are the few things. Advanced pricing, also they have made the reference in this finance minister's speech, but no such amendment has been brought in the Finance Act. According to me, it is not being left. In fact, these have been stated on the floor of the Parliament by the Finance Minister in the speech, so that tomorrow when he brings that amendment by considering the Finance Act as a, you can say, finance bill as an act, then he will introduce those provisions. These might be the intention. Now I will tell you two good developments. One, on the floor of the House, it has been announced that formally International Financial Reporting Statement means IFRS, and so far as from India perspective, it is Ind AS. It will be voluntarily from 2015-16 and it will be compulsory from 2016-17. Other than regulatories like RBI, electricity, banking, etc., they will adopt these provisions of IFRS according to their understanding. However, in respect of all the companies under fraud, etc., this IFRS is going to come now because the statement has been made by the Finance Minister on the floor of the House, and the respective regulator, means the Corporate Ministry, will make the announcement. And we have been asked 3 months back when they came into the power that please prepare yourself for the purpose of IFRS. So let me tell you, we should now concentrate on the IFRS studies, because this is going to come and it's going to be an opportunity for us. We should not think that we do not have cases because they are in Jalandhar. Let me tell you, now there are no borders. The IFRS is a very good, you can say, there are certain things which are technical in nature in IFRS. If you understand, then you will be able to judge with the area. The second point which was of our interest and the interest of the business fraternity, they have announced regarding the income tax accounting standard 2 years back. At that time I was the chairman of the directors committee. We represented for the board, sir, you wanted to bring these accounting standard by your section 145. क्योंकि आप इनको सेक्शन 145 में लाना चाहते हैं, and 145 section says that you need to make books of accounts, and according to those books of accounts, the income will be computed. Now see the plight of the businessman. He has to maintain one set of books of account because Institute of Chartered Accountant has prescribed certain gaps, certain standards. The second standard, if he has to adopt it, because at that time IFRS was on the pipeline, according to the US GAAP or according to the International Financial Standard. And the third set of the books of account, you wanted to prescribe with the income tax. Are the businessmen will do only making of the books of account, or they are also being led to do the business? In that case, they told us that look, your accounting standard gives more than one method of computation of income. For example, in the case of the builders. So we told them, look, whatever your people are studying, they are studying an old law. Now we have also amended our accounting standard, and now there is not much scope is left with the, you can say, the auditing to maintain the accounts on a different basis in the different. So they have accepted our recommendation, and now they have made that these accounting standard will be called as in such a manner that the assessee will not be required to maintain a separate books of account in respect of the anything which will be taken as the computational standard. So these are not the accounting standard as per income tax. These are the only computation standard so far as we are required to maintain, and we need not worry. There is only one question which is left, whether we have to make the books of, you can say these computation on the basis of the standalone or on consolidated basis, wherein we have multiple business. This is the only one point which is left, which is for which clarification is required. So this is what a little bit I wanted to share with you, so that we can update ourselves. Now I will take another 5 minutes. I do not want to come into the another mental tragedy. Sir, though it is a very difficult task for the finance minister to contain the fiscal deficit, but how he has estimated at 4.1, some calculation might have been made, but I am telling you the target which he has set for this government for another 2 years to bring this fiscal deficit to 3%. This is a very good step on the part of the government to reduce the fiscal deficit from a 4.8 to 3% in a period of short span of 3 years. Because if this fiscal deficit will go down to 3%, lot of money will flow in, lot of things will come in. But let me tell you, when I study as to how they are going to collect the money for running this government, what I study that they are still collecting 63% from the taxes only. They are not yet generating the funds from other than, and if I tell you 21 from corporation tax, 13 from income tax, 9 from custom, 10 from excise duty, and 10 from service tax and other taxes. 63% of the rupee is coming from the common man by way of these taxes itself. It's a very dangerous sign, and they are borrowing 20%, 24% for making the expenditure. And let me tell you, a child who is born in my family today, he is born with a liability of 20 rupees in 100 as interest payment. It's a dangerous sign for an economy where I need to feed 20% as interest payment out of 100 rupees earned by the government. This is a very dangerous sign. But let me tell you, another good feature of the Indian economy which I have studied, which is not there at all in any third world country, even USA it is not there, is the saving. The best part of our economy is this, that we are saving more than 30% of our gross domestic product, and that is why if any turbulence comes, we are never disturbed in the past. But this trend is also going. Please tell us, all our clients to have certain savings, because this 34 from 2009-10 has gone to 30%. Means 4% of the saving, there is a trend in the people to spend the money. This is wrong. We must save some money for the purpose. Now the next aspect which I wanted to tell you, that out of direct tax concession, the finance minister is going to lose 22,200 crores. It means whatever he has given benefits, that will be costing to him 22,200 crores. And how he will make the recovery, that is being mainly from the either custom duties or from the cigarette. One of the biggest points which he has made the cigarette. Now we have to see how he is going to manage this, whether the cigarette will come as a smuggled thing or not, that we have to see. And it is you can say a very duplicative things what he has proposed in this. This is why it's new. But the point which I said that I must now read this budget, that how I should tell my clients which area they should work. Now I am telling you, I have studied certain sectors which are being given some benefit in this first year. First sector which I am studying is a financial sector. In financial sector, let me tell you, all along in the financial sector, he has given benefits left and right, so that money should flow in, so that things should come in, and the manufacturing of the country should be there, and he is increasing the custom duties. It means those people, those who have stopped doing the manufacturing activity in last 5-6 years because they are more dependent on the imports. Whatever I spend today, if you see your body today and your daily routine, I think 60% or 70% is imported. Right from mobile to clothes to everything, what we are doing is only importing the things. But for the first time, I have seen in this budget that he has given benefit to the manufacturing, local manufacturing, and the financial sector is being looked very seriously. So those who are dealing with the financial institution or those who are dealing with the bank financing, they are going to have a good business, which is positive all along. Those who are in infrastructures related to NHAI, etc., like cement industry, like anything which is in relation to building the national highway. 37,880 crore have been provided in this year itself only to NHAI to build up roads. So please see, go back to your home, see who are your clients. Those clients, if they are doing anything which is related to construction, then in that case, they have a chance that in this year itself, their business will grow. And if they have to grow, they must start right now so that they should plan how they will grow their business in infrastructure itself. The next sector is the agriculture sector, warehouses. I am telling you, service tax also, they have exempted the warehouses last year. This year also they have exempted the warehouse. Warehouse is going to be a very good business because in warehouses they are providing around 10,000 crore to build up the warehouses. So this is a particular line of business we must do it. Since we are on this side of the country, not specifically Jalandhar I will say, but there is going to be a pipeline which will go to Pakistan via Amritsar, and that pipeline will supply your gas. So those who have land bank over there on that side, they are going to be benefited a lot because government is going to watch those lands and pipelines will be laid down through that. Information and technology. Now in this also, virtual classrooms. The government is going to provide help to those who are establishing virtual classrooms. So this is one of the area which is directly related to education. Telecommunication, they are going to face a trouble because he has increased the duty in respect of all manufacturing items which are not there in their original contract. So far as power unit I am telling you, in Himachal, approximately in my knowledge, there are more than 100 power units which are not functioning because of their certain troubles with the government. Now they have provided in this that all those units will be given the benefit. So if you have either a close or anything in your nearby, any power generation unit, there is going to be a very good incentive, and especially in respect of the solar technology. Let me tell you, I went to my brother. Even in USA, there is no shortage of electricity at all. No electricity goes there. But they have installed solar cells in their gardens. They have installed solar cell in their parking, and it is automatic and the cost is very less. But we are not doing this. So solar technology we are going to, because oil prices are going up. So solar technology, we must advise our client that solar technology they should do something, because in solar technology they have provided a lot of benefits. Housing, 100 smart cities. He has said at least 7 times in this speech that they are going to build up 100 smart cities. What are those 100 smart cities? They are going to announce it. Please look into all those 100 smart cities, because the National Housing Board Bank is going to sanction loans in respect of all such housing in all those 100 smart cities. Please look into this. It is going to give a good business to our clients. The last point which I will cover is tourism. E-visa. Let me tell you, there are hubs which the government is creating. Like I am telling you, in foreign countries, they give a concept to a city. Like Jalandhar, they may give a sport city concept. They may give to Amritsar a city of temple. A concept they will generate, and cities will be developed on those bases. So 5 cities they are going to develop in this side of the country, and there is going to be a lot of tourism. Those who are serving the tourism industry, like booking of tickets, the cars, the budget hotels, they are going to have a great business in the coming year, because each country will come to negotiate with us for e-visa. Suppose right now, if I have to obtain a visa for other than SAARC countries, then I have to go to the embassy and take the e-visa. Now, if they will reopen those e-visa on the basis of the electronic applying only, and the people do not have to go to the embassy, that means this is on visa on arrival. I went to Sri Lanka, so the visa was on arrival. The moment you present your passport, you can enter into that country for 30 days or 60 days, whatever you want, if you are a tourist. But if you are going there, attend some seminar, then they will charge you. And if you are find that you entered as a tourist and you were attending some seminar, there are huge penalties on those cases. So visa on arrival and e-visa is going to give a very big booster to the tourism industry. Please look into this. What I want you to say in short, that I must not look now. Time has gone. When I look only from the point of view of the direct tax and indirect tax, because this is my profession. I need to learn direct and indirect taxes in any case, because this is my profession and I need to learn it. But if I tell my client that if you start right now expanding your business, and by the end of 2 years or 3 years, I will tell you which sector is going to come up and which sector or which place, which item is going to come up, which is the policy of the government which is going to come up, then I think I am making a value addition to my client, and my client will pay. Right now I am not giving any earning to my client. If I give him any advice in the direct tax and indirect tax, it means I am taking something from him, and in respect of that particular thing, I am not giving him anything other than that he is living his, you can say, sleep which is, you can say, without any disturbance and sleep. But if I give him that will increase the profits, you will have a better business, then I think I will also get good amount of fees. This is my concept today, that I must become a chartered accountant which provides value addition to the client, and I should take fees from the client from his development and not from his statutory compliance. With this, I am thankful to the Jalandhar branch for you for giving me this time. Yes, sir.
Institute has given a logo to the members to business category, that is passport use of the
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Can a business community use that logo?
Business community can use the logo. Ye logo. Yes, the logo is not for a practicing chartered accountant. The logo, if you are a chartered accountant and paying fees fees to the institute and you are a registered member in the institute, you can use that logo at any time.
Anybody else can use?
Nobody can stop you. It is not as a nobody else. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let me explain you something in this. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I will. If you are raised to sir, मेरा तो दिल से दिल की बात कर रहा हूँ. 2010 in this very council where you have sent me, I have raised this very issue to get all these logos, the short form of the ICAI, which is also being used by now cost issue. Get it registered and all, you can say logos, etc. They should be registered with the authorities and it is being allowed, already applied, and there are only one or two objections which are there in respect of this CA logo, the emblem of the this eagle, and also ICAI. We have applied the patent and the logo is under, you can say, final stages. Within 6 months or 1 year.
That means that anybody can use this logo?
Nobody can use it. Nobody